Welcome to bubblefruit.com and one of our Photoshop tutorials. In this short tutorial we're going to talk about optimizing images for websites. Very, very important today. We've got smartphones, tablets, etc. and across the world people are working with different bit rates, broadband, and in some countries even dial-up. So we need to make our images as good looking as possible, but we want to make them small. Big mistake a lot of people make, and we're just going to show you a quick example. I've got an image here I took up in Scotland, and if you've never been there I certainly recommend it. My sister got married not too far from here, but we're going off topic. So we have an image here which comes straight off of my Samsung phone. So this is a camera picture. And in Photoshop we're showing inches across the rulers. So here we've got an image which is physically 45 inches by about 35 inches there. Now if we go up to image and image size, we will see that's also at 72 dots per inch, which is not ideal for printing, but that's camera phones for you. Now big problem. Most websites width wise, I'm using a laptop here at the moment. It's about it's on high resolution. It's at about 1200 pixels wide by about 7,500 pixels in height. Problem being, if you can see, this image here in its raw state is probably at least 3 times bigger than it needs to be. Big problem being is that the image is big in size, and if you've got a website with lots of images on, these images take time to download, and if you want to attract people to your website, the last thing you want them to do is to spend ages downloading your images, because if they do, they're more than likely to click off and go somewhere else. So really easy. First thing we do is load our image into Photoshop. We then go to File, Save for Web. Not save as, save for web. Straight away that puts a new window up. Now my image is actually in here, it's just zoomed in a bit, so I'm just going to negative out here and get the picture in frame. Now the image here, based on a 2 megabits per second line, which is fairly typical for broadband. I know there's a lot more higher bit rates, but in general this is pretty damn high. This image could take up to 15 seconds to load. Now you've got a few of these in your website. We're looking at a fairly lengthy time to download, and this is just from a camera phone, let alone some digital SLR. Right, okay, so we have our image. Now we want to save this image not as a GIF. GIF doesn't give you the color span that JPEG does, so always try and save your images as JPEG, even at high resolution. Now we have a choice of optimized and progressive. Not too important, but effectively the difference there is optimized means effectively your image will load as soon as it's ready. As soon as the computer has downloaded all the bits that make up your image, the image will then show. Progressive tends to give it scans the image at various levels, so if you have got a big picture and that needs to take time to load, it will build up the picture over time, so at least your customer will see something. The only thing with progressive, the file sizes are slightly larger, but you've got the benefit of the image slowly. If you've ever been, a good example, if you've been on a website sometimes and the image is taken a fair amount of time to build up, but the image appears maybe blurry and then suddenly sharpens up, that's been saved as progressive. So not too important. I tend to go for optimized, because with optimized and you save in the file at the right size, doesn't tend to be an issue on load, and the file size is slightly smaller. Straight away you will see here that in JPEG here we've gone down to 4 seconds. We now need to reduce the image down to, let's just say this image is part of our home page on our website. and we want to say a typical website width is maybe 1,000 pixels, and we want this to be maybe half of our website size, half of our website width. So if we set that to 500 pixels, automatically it sets the height there because it's linked here, so we keep proportions of the image. Now we've got that in place on Optimised, and as we see here on JPEG, see the image is zoomed right down here. That's only because we've zoomed out. That's not what your image would look like in your website. As you can see here, file size is dramatically decreased. It's gone down to 1 second, so from 15-second load to 1 second load over a 2 megabits per second line. If we go back to our traditional, when we was on say dial-up modems, again that would only take 6 seconds to load. If any of you are old enough to remember 56k dial-up, then you will know images took forever to load. But say even using this package here, Save for Web, that would be 6 seconds, which, trust me, in the days gone by, 6 seconds was fairly quick. Now it's nothing. So going back to a typical download of 2 megabits bits per second, that's a 1 second load. Obviously a lot of faster broadbands now, you will download that in a matter of milliseconds. Now we can go to preview, and preview will actually give you an idea of what your image will look like. What you see is what you get. As you can see, image looks perfect, colours are there, it's still sharp, ideal for web. Obviously for printing, we're not talking about printing. This is probably not what we're going to be looking for. We're sticking with website images. So we've set our size, we've set optimized, and just for an example, if I set that to progressive, we're still looking at 1 second because we're working at such an optimized image here. It's not really making any difference. You'll see it's gone up to 28k from 28k, 27k. It makes no difference at all really at this kind of size, so that's not really an issue. High resolution there, that's a perfect image. So ideally we just need to save, and then we save in our location. But that's straightforward. That's optimizing your image in Photoshop for websites. I'm glad you've watched so far, and if you need any more information, please just go to bubblefruit.com. We have a wealth of information on that site and lots of great free tutorials for you. Thanks for listening.